From supporting the construction of Ram Temple in Ayodhya to the scrapping of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, the BJP government led by Narendra Modi has delivered on 2 of its 3 long-term promises. The third has always been Uniform Civil Code. Is the implementation of a UCC next on agenda? There is fresh buzz as Law Commission has issued a public notice seeking fresh views and opinions on the UCC. The move has triggered a political storm. The Congress has launched an attack on the central government, accusing it of polarization. Now, the merits and need of a UCC have been debated for long. But can Uniform Civil Code be implemented in India, and is this the right time? UCC requires navigating sensitive religious and cultural issues as different communities may strongly oppose any perceived infringement upon their personal laws. And any attempt to introduce a UCC is also likely to face political opposition. Political parties and religious groups may exploit the issue to mobilize support or protect a vote bank, making it challenging to build consensus and pass a necessary legislation. And is the central government even serious about implementing it, or is it just bringing this topic back to the front burner ahead of 2024 elections? We'll take those questions to our guest in just a bit, but here is what Law Commission has asked for. It has invited views and ideas from the public now on the UCC, seeking opinions, especially from recognized religious organizations. Stakeholders have been asked to send views within 30 days. Submissions can be made in form of discussions or papers. But remember, this is the second such initiative taken by the Law Commission the last 7 years alone, but the previous one did not really lead anywhere. Here is where most religious and social bodies stand on the Uniform Civil Code. So the All India Muslim Personal Law Board has called UCC against the spirit of the Constitution. That may be an exaggeration of sorts because it is actually in the Constitution as a directive principle. Jamaat Ulama-e-Hind has passed a resolution against UCC saying that it is an injustice to Muslims. Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee has called UCC Centre's bid to make India a Hindu Rashtra. On UCC, RSS has said that people of one nation should live under a common law. Let's also take a look at the history of this issue in Supreme Court, and it's an interesting one. In 1985, during the Shah Bano case, the Supreme Court had remarked that it is a matter of regret that Article 44 has remained a dead letter. Again, in Sarla Mudgal case in 1995, the Supreme Court urged then Prime Minister to endeavour to secure a UCC for the country. More recently, in 2023, the Supreme Court has said that there is no bar on states setting up a panel for the UCC since many BJP-ruled states were doing so. And also this year, the Supreme Court said that the courts should not be seen as directing legislature to enact a law, particularly when petitions were up for hearing in this matter. What has been the government stand, and particularly the government led by the BJP at the centre? So last year, the union government had batted for UCC in an affidavit in the Supreme Court saying that personal laws based on religion are an affront to the nation's unity. It said that UCC will bring about integration of the country and its various sections, terming UCC a common platform through an unvarying legal regime. Let me also quickly break down the case for and against the Uniform Civil Code. So people supporting the Common Civil Code say it enhances, first of all, the status of women and the marginalized. But people objecting to it say it is difficult to implement due to diverse personal laws. People backing it say many personal laws violate human rights. Many objecting to the UCC say that implementation would create fear among minorities of loss of religious identity. People backing UCC say that Article 25 and 26 guarantee freedom of religion. So therefore, there is no need to be worried on that front, and UCC is actually not opposed to secularism. People objecting to it say that rights bestowed by religion cannot be questioned by a court of law. Finally, people backing UCC also say that liberal, gender-sensitive civil code is the need of the hour for a new India, while those opposed to UCC say that no one should interfere with religion in the name of social reform. So on that note, let's go across to our guest joining us. Joining us, Tom Varakan, spokesperson of the BJP, Atikur Rahman, Islamic scholar, Justice Adityanath Mittal is former Chief UP Law Commission, Desh Ratan Nigam is lawyer and political analyst, Zinat Shaukat Ali is also an activist and Islamic scholar. Zinat Shaukat Ali, why don't I begin with you? We've discussed the merits, as I said, and we know the positions of all sides, whether they agree, don't agree, give a conditional support, or are completely opposed to a UCC. I want to understand from you, as an Islamic activist and scholar, Do you believe that the time is right in India for UCC now?
You see, the Uniform Civil Code has been besieged with problems for many, many decades, and it has created a lot of polemics and controversy. But what we need to understand, in answer to your question, is what exactly is the aim of the Uniform Civil Code. So, and whether, as you're saying, the time is right. The time can be always right, and the time can never be right.
True.
So, that is, I would not like to discuss that part of the question. But I do think that, that the very term has been severely contested over the years, as in the realm of identity issue and electoral politics, as well as with a range of interests among feminist groups who want the Uniform Civil Code. Now, one has to understand that in an increasingly communalized national context, this subject becomes extremely complicated, whereas in actuality it is not. Because the quest for the Uniform Civil Code is what? Currently, within the existing legal framework, there exists no uniform family-related law in a single statutory book for all Indians that is acceptable to all religious communities in India, and that is where the Uniform Civil Code is heading. And like, the constitutional expression, we the people of India in its dynamic unity integrally includes a national plurality of people of India cutting across race, ethnicity, religion, caste, etc. So all its citizens need to do is to seek a favorable solution that desiderates harmony and accommodative religious pluralism, seeking a balance between the right to religion and the right to justice.
Yes, so you're very right about that, Zina Shaukat Ali, but that's precisely the heart of this debate, whether that consensus can happen when there are so many vested interest groups. Who's going to build that consensus? Is that even possible in a country of 140 million people? And secondly, everyone will have to give a little bit. But the fight is going to be exactly that. Justice Aditya, I want to come to you. Legally speaking, is this even possible in a country like India?
Of course.
All right, it looks like there's a slight issue with Justice connection, but Atikur Rahman, why don't you take this question? Can the consensus be built? When is going to be the right time? And everybody will have to give a little bit. Can we all come on the table and do so? We all know what this is for.
Shivani, this is not the first time we are discussing this issue.
Yes.
In fact, the issue has been on the BJP manifesto since 1986.
Yes.
A very, very good government of Mr. Vajpayee never touched it. Government of Mr. Modi, since they are about to complete 10 years. They are just making a red herring out of it. The procrastination on the part of the BJP is beyond, comprehension of the people. The Supreme Court has pinpointed that the scriptures, the ulama, the leaders of the religious denominations, they are usurping the rights of the women. Despite this fact, why not the government of India place it as a draft resolution on the floor of the legislatures?
No, but then they've just done the exercise for that, right? Atikur Rahman, let's be fair. Atikur, let's be fair. They've invited these public opinion precisely for that exercise, right? What would ideally follow from here is a draft resolution and possibly a legislation. So we'll get to that. But I'm just trying to understand from you, do you feel the Muslim community has walked the distance that it needed to walk to accept a UCC in India?
I think on this particular issue, Shivani, the government, if they are pinpointing to the Muslims, they are hiding behind them. Because leave aside the Muslims are not the first citizens of the state. The Muslims will have to adhere to the rights of the women because that is enshrined in the Quran. And Ms. Shaukat Ali will be vouchsafing this fact. None of the gender justice and gender equality laws, if they are preempted by the government of the day, the Muslims will have to adhere to it because that will be based on gender
I asked
justice
you this question only because
equality.
Muslim bodies have vehemently opposed UCC and they do have a lot of clout amongst Indian Muslims. the Jamaat, for example, even if not the All India Muslim Personal Law Board?
There they will have to build the consensus.
Okay.
What they are primarily basing their arguments is, are the minority rights will be intact in this UCC. And these minority rights also concern the tribal rights.
Yeah,
The
but I think those are, those
objected to
concerns
this
may be
fact.
there, but let's be fair, those are not valid concerns. There are separate clauses or articles in the Constitution that protect right to religion. UCC is not going to infringe upon them. UCC is only for, issues of marriage, succession, divorce, adoption, etc. Justice Anand is now through with us. I wanted to understand from you, you were part of the UP law panel. Legally speaking, how difficult is this exercise?
Basically, it is a constitutional mandate, and this mandate is since 1950. I may ask, Honorable the Speaker, that when the personal law of Hindus, that was codified, Hindus are in majority in India, they were and they are. They have not opposed on the ground of religion. Now, if it is a constitutional mandate, it has to be done, and all these sections of the society, maybe Hindu, maybe Muslim, maybe both, maybe Sikh, maybe Isai, whosoever it is, they have to accept, and they must accept, and they must honor the constitution. Merely saying that their religious rights will be affected. The religious rights of the Hindus were also affected. Previously, before 1956, Hindus were open to take adoption. They were open for more than one marriage, but they had not opposed it. So we have to run with the mandate of the Constitution, and the Constitution says that there shall be a uniform civil code. Merely opposing it on the ground of religion, and more particularly of Muslim religion, it is not, in my opinion, it is not fair.
But sir, how do you read the fact? How do you read the fact that even the governments have been pussyfooting around this? For example, the Law Commission earlier has said that the time is not right, and we have to be very careful about, protecting pluralism in India. And in the name of UCC or uniformity, we cannot deal a blow to diversity in India. So even the legal opinion, whether it's the commission, whether it's the government, it's not clear. First, that legal position has to become clearer.
As far as the legal position is concerned, Honorable the Supreme Court has, many times, has said that there must be uniform civil code in India.
Yes.
And I hope that the uniform civil code will not affect the diversity of various religions, various sections of the India. Let the proposal come. And when the public opinion has been sought on the proposal, the parties must give their proposal. The Law Commission may make accordingly changes if it requires, and more particularly, it will go to the Parliament. In the Parliament, there shall be discussion. Whatever problem you are having, you may discuss those problems in the Parliament.
Right.
And you can't say that it is targeting the Muslims. No.
No,
I absolutely do not agree.
Fair enough. But what's also alternatively true is that for some reason, yes, they've been the most vociferous block of minorities in India that have been opposing UCC, and history is witness to it, so I don't have to add more. But it's not that only the Muslims are concerned about UCC. There are, Christian communities, maybe Parsi communities, even amongst Hindus. There are so many diverse sects. Even they have apprehensions about the UCC, about how it will affect their traditional way of life and the way they govern their personal life. Let me bring in Deshratan Nigam here before I go to Tom Vadakan on this. Just speaking purely from the view of the Hindu bodies as well, Deshratan Nigam, I don't think that there is a very clear clarity, despite what the RSS may say. The RSS has fundamentally always batted for the UCC, but there are several sects within the Hindu larger umbrella that are nervous about the UCC too.
Well, Shivani, in fact, Hindu Succession Act, Hindu Marriage Act, and everything is applicable to all the Hindus, irrespective of what the bodies think. So there is no two ways about it that they are not going to accept a uniform civil code, because for Hindus, the uniform civil code already exists in the form of various laws which have already made, which are secular in nature. Now, if there is, people think that it is affecting the diversity and the equality, then I believe if any diversity or plurality or inequality is based on gender injustice, gender inequality, then so be it. Because gender equality and gender justice is primary in the Constitution and the prime position of our Constitution under Article 14, 19 and 21.
Fair
and
enough.
Therefore,
but it's not always just about gender, right, Deshratam Nigam? It's just about your traditional way of life. Is it fair for religious groups to feel that what is the need for a UCC that erases this diversity that we have, where different communities deal with succession, etc., differently, barring, of course, if there is an absolute infringement of human rights and gender rights? For example, I'm quoting the former law panel's report. And this is why I'm asking this, whether there's clarity of what even the government wants to do. And this is from August 2018, when the Narendra Modi government was in power. That uniformity cannot be a reason for threat to territorial integrity. I found that very, very alarming, that they've linked this to territorial integrity. But it also goes on to say unified nation doesn't necessarily need to have uniformity. Difference doesn't always imply discrimination. UCC is neither necessary nor desirable at this stage. So my question also is that we keep moving one step forward, two steps back. There's no clarity what the government wants to do.
See, Shivani, Law Commission of India is a statutory body, an independent body, and mostly their recommendation in the past was based on the Supreme Court judgments. A huge exercise which is being taken now is actually being done for the first time. And all kinds of opinions and shades will come. And believe me when I say this, the diversity is not going to be affected. The gender discrimination or other kinds of discrimination will be eliminated. So it is not about diversity. Please remember, any diversity which is rooted in injustice and discrimination has to go. It is not going to...
Do you believe that is possible, though? As the Law Commission reignites this process, can a consensus be made? Is the time right?
No, that is why this huge exercise is being done. The various shades of opinion will come. There will be some suspicions. There will be some kind of apprehensions. And then there will be address. There will be, a paper will be prepared. A draft legislation will come. And, once a law is made, then it is put into practice. If there are problems, the amendments can be brought in subsequently. So it's an evolutionary process. It is not that you have cast
it in a stone. It's a static process. Understood. Tom Vadakan, I want to come to you. The fundamental question the BJP faces is, look, 2024 elections are less than a year to go now, and suddenly we hear about UCC again, when your own government, during your government, you did nothing for the last 10 years. So why should people not accuse you of using UCC for emotional gain alone ahead of elections?
Shivani, the process started with 370, where the discrimination of gender was an issue. Then the issue of triple talaq. And then there were these different questions that were raised by the Supreme Court. The UCC is not a product of the BJP. It is a product generated and mentored by the Constitution of India. Article 44 speaks about it. Ambedkarji's book, which is out, also speaks about the relevance of it. Now, the point here is, it is not against the diversity. It is against giving a level playing field to all genders, wherever they are, protecting them. This is the basic idea of the UCC.
Fair enough. I'm not discussing the merit. I'm not discussing the merit of this. I'm just discussing why should people not question the intentions. Barely 11 months before the next general elections.
You question the intention because it's put up for debate. Please present your debate to the panel. It is not a product of the Bharatiya Janata Party. It's a product of the panel. And you put your objections to the panel, it will be discussed, it will be brought. It is as transparent as that. There's
Atikur Rahman seems to be disagreeing with you. Tom Vadakan, give me a minute to get him in, then I'll come back to you. Yes, Atikur Rahman.
Shivani, any positive move towards UCC is countering the patriarchal and the misogynist society which is deeply rooted in the Indians. And mind you, we are pinning our hopes on a government which has, scores of members of parliament which are patriarchal and misogynist. The recent example is of the wrestling thing. They cannot provide rights to these 4 or 5 women, and they are going to provide 50% of the Indian women, the Indian population, this particular UCC. Come on, Mr. Tom, come very much clean on this. In respect of a draft resolution, you are just playing with the emotions of the people of India.
Okay, you made that point before. Let Tom Varakan respond. Tom Varakan, added to that, my question also is, do you really expect that there will be any political consensus, given how opposed virtually every other party in India is to you, no matter what position you take, what position they have taken on a similar issue in the past? Do you really hope to build a political consensus on an issue like the UCC, wherever that happens?
Shivani, I'm not an astrologer. This is an issue that's been put by the Law Commission. And we believe that people of India are democratic. Democratic practices have been alive, unlike the Congress party which says democracy is not alive. The process has just started. Why are you so suspicious? If you have a problem, go to the Law Commission, present it. They will listen to you. And the legislation is the last part of it. There's going to be a debate in Parliament. There's going to be a debate at all levels. Why are you so worried? The idea is born out of the Indian Constitution. And we are only following what the Constitution has said under Article 44. We'll give it a try and let's see what happens.
How many years?
People of India
years,
make sure
20
this
years?
is the people's
How many
court.
years the women will be waiting for this? For how many years
It is
you
a
are
matter
going
that
to
is in
make the
people's
women
court.
of India
Your
wait for
howling
this?
and screaming doesn't help. The point here is gender equality, succession issues, marriage issues, diverse issues, and the kind of protection that this section needs.
Okay.
We are trying
but
to
Atika Rahman, I don't understand. Why are you blaming the BJP for the delay on UCC? They're the only party who actively bats for
Very
it.
good question, Shivani.
You should be asking this
Very good
question and,
question,
showing
Shivani.
this anger against other political parties.
The RSS ideology related to misogyny and patriarchal was very much there in the Supreme Court in the past month.
Okay.
Wherein the Supreme
I'm not
Court
getting into that.
pinpointed
No, let's not deviate the
1 month
debate to
waiting
that. I want to
period.
give a final
The
30
1
seconds to
month
Justice
waiting period
Mittal
is
as well.
patriarchal.
Justice Mittal, can you just briefly explain to us what follows after this? 30 days time for everyone to present their views. What do you expect will follow from this? All right, looks like I can't get through to Justice Mittal. He's not getting my audio. Zeenat Shaukat Ali, do you believe UCC can be a reality anytime soon?
The UCC can be a reality. You see, in the foundational principle, if we understand that the foundational principle of the Uniform Civil Code is justice, and the constitutional right which is the constitutional right of every Indian citizen. And the Uniform Civil Code actually is in the best interest of religions.
Okay.
People of religions have to understand that it does not negate religious sentiments, but only regressive dogmas, which are misogynistic.
And across all religions, so not targeting anyone. All right, I'll leave it at that. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. We'll wait and see what really transpires after the 30-day period that the Law Commission has given ordinary citizens and religious bodies to opine on the UCC.